Power relations and opportunities for second language learning. Now, a strand in sociolinguistics approach is also interested in looking at how does power embedded in the speech events affect language learning. And there have been a lot of studies that are looking at this trend. One of the studies which is worth mentioning because of its design and because of the massive scale at which it was done is Norton's study of 2000. Now, Norton tried to study the immigrants moving into Canadian context and trying to learn English language. He wanted to see how do the immigrants, as they learn the language, how do they position themselves within the community, and how does language learning affect their relationships with their peers, and how does this relationship with their peers affect their language learning? So she wanted to look at the contact in between. So mainly qualitative and based on case studies. One of the examples or one of the cases was that of Mai, who belonged to this patriarchal structure. She comes to Canada, lives with her brother's family, and the brother, as usual, as is the custom in her home country, wants to marry her off immediately. Mai, however, wants to delay her marriage, and by learning English language, she starts to make herself useful at home by helping her brother's children with homework. She looks for a new job in which her English language also helps her, and she begins to contribute to the family income. And by being able to make herself useful for the family, she somehow is able to delay her marriage, and this also provides her to strengthen her English language skills in return. European Science Foundation study again is a massive studies in which they followed several strands, and they provide evidence that in the speech events actually power relationships or power dynamics play a lot of part. And in this power embedded speech events, it's the target language native speaker who actually has the edge, and second language learners are not the beneficiaries of this encounter. Somehow, because the second language learners are learning or trying to get the linguistic capital which the other people already have with them, so somehow it places them or it disempowers them to a certain extent, and it affects their lives. Similarly, there are several gatekeeping studies. What is gatekeeping? Gatekeeping is gatekeeping or gatekeepers are said to be people who actually try to manage the boundaries of their groups. Once they are in a group and they see themselves as a community, for instance, as a community of English language speakers, they would like to raise the boundaries and guard the boundaries. They would like that other people should stay out of their circle, and these are people who would not be very helpful in the encounters that they have with the non-native speakers. So the target language speaker at times can be a powerful gatekeeper, and the second language speakers may somehow be affected by this unequal power relationship. So what do these studies indicate? These studies indicate that understanding is an interactive process, learning is an interactive process, and it is mutually constructed through inference, through getting what we call intersubjectivity. At times, you might feel that different theories are using different terminology, but they are more or less similar. So we had this sociocultural theory also, which was talking about the importance of social interactions. Sociolinguistic studies are slightly different because they are more interested in speech events as such and less in the learning part. So they actually try to look at the motivational or attitudinal aspect of learning, which we are reminded of if we think of Gresham's affective filter. So in any case, they say the context in which the language learning is taking place is extremely important for any ongoing or sustained learning opportunity.